Okay, let's try one more. Let's look at problem number 20. Here we're talking about cars and we're also talking about airplanes. So what I'm going to do, once again, it doesn't make any difference. I still want to do my drawing so that I can set up my formula and put distance is equal to rate times time. And by doing this, I know that everything in this column is distance, everything in this column is rate, and everything in this column is going to be times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put cars here, planes here. Okay, now take a look and see what information you actually have on number 20. It talks about a car averages 55 miles per hour and a plane averages 75 miles per hour. So my car is averaging 55 because that's the rate, and the plane is averaging about 575. Then if you go on, it talks about if the plane and the car travels for the same amount of time. Notice the same amount of time means that I'm going to put t here and t here because their times are exactly the same. Okay, then it goes on and says what happens when they do that, the airplane travels 100 miles further than the car. So if the car is only going, which we don't know, so we'll represent that by D, but I do know that it's going to be the car plus 100. So that then will be the distance as far as the plane. Now let's take a look. We have two different equations. We have the first one which says distance is equal to 55 times the time. And then we have the second equation which says D plus 100 equals 75t. Okay, does everybody see that? Okay, so let's go on. We have two equations. Let's say we have this one and we have this one. Once again, since this is D and this is D, I can take this and substitute it in place of my D. So what do I have? I would end up with 55t plus 100 equal to 75t. Once again, you're going to want to solve for t. I'm going to subtract 55t from both sides and end up with 100 equal to, when I subtract that, I end up with a 20t. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by 20. And when you divide by 20, I end up with 5 is equal to t. That's 5 hours. But go back to the original problem, number 20. They said how far does each go? So once again, we have not solved for D. We've only solved for t. Now, finding D is easy because what I'm going to do is go back to this formula. It even states for the car, the distance is equal to 55 times t. I now know what time is, which is 5. So therefore, what do I have? 55 times 5. When I multiply my 55 times 5, I end up with a distance which is equal to 275 for the car. So the car traveled 275 miles. Well, to find the plane, I'm going to end up with distance plus 100, which is equal to 275, because that's the distance, plus 100, which ends up giving me 375. Now, we'll put it in a sentence again, and we'll say the car traveled 275 miles, and the plane traveled 375 miles.